There are a lot of good fantasy books coming in 2019. Let's take a look at them. I love reading fantasy, and seeing a lot of the titles for next year are making me excited. So I'm going to go through the most anticipated fantasy books for myself in the year 2019. I'll go through them in chronological order, except for the first three. I'd like you to let me know which ones you're interested in reading next year. The first one, which was originally scheduled for this year and maybe last year, is The Doors of Stone by Patrick Rothfuss. It's the third book in the Kingkiller Chronicles series. Yeah, we've been waiting for this one for a long time, haven't we? I have the first book, haven't read it yet, but I really want to see this third one released, and it's been taking him a very long time to get it out. So Pat, where is it? The other one that we've been waiting for a long time is The Winds of Winter by George R.R. Martin. It's the sixth book in A Song of Ice and Fire, and we have definitely been waiting for this for a long time. I saw it scheduled for this year, but that didn't happen. So next year, maybe. George, where is it? Please let us know. And the third one, which has no scheduled date for 2019, but I believe it is coming, is Peace Talks by Jim Butcher. It's the 16th book in the Dresden Files series. Now, this is a series I haven't started reading yet. I don't even have the first book, but I am interested in it. And it's a little bit different than the usual fantasy that I read. It's not like high fantasy, it's more urban fantasy. Now let's look at the books that actually have set dates. And we'll do them in chronological order. First one is set to be released on January 29th, 2019, and this is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. It is the first book in the Nikolai duology, and it's set in the Grisha universe. I haven't actually read any of her books, but I know some people, especially here in BookTube, are really looking forward to that. There's been a lot of talk about, I guess most recently was Six of Crows and things like that. So I would bet that this is one of the top most anticipated fantasy novels of 2019. Set to be released on the same day is Reckoning of Fallen Gods by R.A. Salvatore. It's the second book in the Coven series. Now, this is based, of course, in the same world that he's been writing in Forgotten Realms. I really enjoy his Drizzt books, and there is another one coming later this year, too. But I am looking forward to this. On February 19th, 2019, we will get to see Kellanved's Reach by Ian C. Esselmont. This is the third in the Path to Ascendancy series, which is based in the same world that Malazan is in. So I have been reading a lot of the Malazan books, especially Stephen Erickson's books, but Ian C. Esselmont is also writing in the same universe as they created it together. I want to read all of these books. On April 4th, we will see Holy Sister by Mark Lawrence. This is the third book in Book of the Ancestor, and I don't know much about this one. I have had communications with Mark Lawrence in the past, so he's an easily approachable author. So I am looking forward to checking this book out as well as his books. On April 16th, we will see Age of Legend by Michael J. Sullivan. This is the fourth book in the Legends of the First Empire. And you know what? Michael J. Sullivan is another one of those authors who you can easily approach and talk to. I've had a lot of email exchanges with him, and I've read his first book, which he first published by himself and is now a very well-sold book. This book is set in the same world, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. On April 30th, we will see The Unbound Empire by Melissa Caruso. This is the third book in the Swords and Fire trilogy, and from what I understand, in this series, magic is restricted, but there is magic. And, I like this kind of book, just the name, Swords and Fire, makes me think, well, there's a lot of swords, and there's magic, and you can't go wrong with that. But I am looking forward to checking out her books. On May 7th, Empire of Grass by Tad Williams is set to be released. This is the second book in The Last King of Osten-Ard, and this is set in the same world from his first, I believe that is Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn series, which I have, but I haven't read yet. So I am looking forward to this one as well. Moving into summer, on July 9th is I Spy by Mercedes Lackey. This is the second book in the Valdemar Family Spies series. And, I've heard a lot about Valdemar, and I've been very interested in reading it. I haven't picked up any of the books yet, but I will be, definitely. On August 29th, we will have The Burning White by Brent Weeks. This is the fifth book in the Lightbringer series. I've heard a lot about him, and I actually have one of his books, but I haven't read it either. I have a lot of books that I haven't read, but I digress. I am definitely looking forward to this, as I am looking forward to all the others on this list, and this one is way up there, actually. In September, Joe Abercrombie is returning to the First Law world with A Little Hatred. This is the first in A Little Hatred trilogy, and I am definitely looking forward to this. I have heard quite a bit about A First Law, and I absolutely want to read it. And this one too, of course. On September 10th, R.A. Salvatore is back for a second book this year, and this time the book is called Boundless, and it's the second in the Drizzt trilogy. Now, as I mentioned before, I really enjoy Drizzt. I think he's one of the greatest elves. And R.A. Salvatore is prolific. He has written so many books, and I just really want to read all of them. On September 19th, we have The Thorn of Emberlane by Scott Lynch. This is the fourth book in the Gentleman Bastard sequence. Now, that's an interesting title for a series, isn't it? But I've heard quite a bit about this, and I am, as always, looking forward to it. Coming up in October is another Michael J. Sullivan book. In fact, it's the fifth book in the Legends of the First Empire, and it's called Age of Death. Wow, that sounds interesting. And as I said before, I've been reading his first series, and this is a continuation, although I believe this is a prequel series. Also in October, on the 17th, is The Desert Prince by Peter V. Brett. It's the first in the Desert Prince series. This is the beginning of a new Demon War series, and it follows the core about 15 years after the end of that book. On November 12th, we will have The God Is Not Willing by Stephen Erickson. This is the first book in the Witness, or I should say Witness series. And guess what? It is a sequel to Malazan, Book of the Fallen. I love it. I really, really look forward to this one. And finally, on December 12th is The Light of All That Falls by James Islington. This is the third and final book in the Licanius trilogy, and from what I've heard, this is definitely high fantasy, and the first book was originally self-published. Now, I am definitely looking forward to this. I've heard that it is very good. At least the first book was very good. And that is it for 2019. We end the year on a fairly highly recommended series. So that was a lot of books to go through. I have not done one this long before. So, do any of these books interest you? I'd like you to let me know which ones you would like to read in the comments below. But also, is there any that I missed in the fantasy genre that you think I should read that'll be coming out next year? Or in 2019, that is if you're watching this in 2019. Just let me know down below. If you like this video, then please give it a big thumbs up. And if you would like to see some more book-related videos, then please consider subscribing down below. And check out those books over there. You might see something you like. So we'll see you next time.